It was more exciting because I feel like a lot of people are popular for their perfection,
Yes,
appearances, and I became popular for my imperfections, and I was like, okay. When people think of the word model, they always see, okay, you have to be thin, flawless, you got good bone structure, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, I'm the opposite. And I'm like, who defines what a model is? I had acne since I was 11. So I didn't really know anything else in my teenage years. I assumed it was gonna go, but then when people were making fun out of it, I was like, oh my God, this is really bad, like worse than I thought. I need to get rid of it. I used to edit my photos a lot. One day I was getting ready for Mac and I was like, I cannot be bothered to edit this photo. I actually don't care. And I recorded it and I was like, I'm just gonna put it out, whatever. And this was the first time, I think everyone used to comment nice things to me. They used to be, oh my God, your skin's amazing, your makeup's amazing, you're so beautiful, blah, blah, blah. I just put it out and I went to my shift. When I say I've never experienced hate online, I was literally like...
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Millennial Mind. And I have one really quick favour to ask from all of you. If you haven't already, wherever you're watching or listening to this podcast, if you could press the follow and subscribe button, it would really mean the world to me. Thank you so much for supporting me on this journey here. Let's get into it because I cannot wait for you to see my new studio and my incredible guest today. Kadeeja.
Hello.
Welcome to Millennial Mind. I'm super happy to have you here today and so sorry about all the calamity of the train strikes and me being very late.
No, it's fine.
And thank you for taking the time to come. I know we've been speaking for a while, for a really long time actually.
Yeah.
I think I asked you a year ago now.
I know, my God,
Right?
that's mad. But you know what? This is my first ever podcast, so that's why I'm a bit nervous. I'm like, oh my God. But I had to do it with you. Oh my God. Like, seriously, you're amazing and I love everything that you do. So
Oh, thank you. Well, don't be nervous. This is just like a little chat, and that's how I always tell everyone, you know, we're just here to talk about it. Sometimes it gets deep, but, you know, just look at it as a little chat. But for people who don't know who you are, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
yeah, so I'm Kadeeja. I am under the name Emerald X Beauty on Instagram. And I document a lot about my skin, weight loss, and just overall feeling confident in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's the main message that I want to, you know, bring to people. And yeah, that's what I do.
So growing up, did you struggle with those things?
Yeah, I think that I had acne since I was 11. So I didn't really know anything else in my teenage years. So I was just like, yeah, this is a part of me, like whatever kind of thing. But I assumed it was going to go and it actually didn't. I was just like, oh my God, I thought this is teenage spots and it's going to go. But it just started to get worse. And I was like, oh my God.
11's quite early, actually. So
Yeah.
that's when you're going into secondary school.
Yeah.
And when you say you had acne, did you have and you said it was like spots, did you have a few or what was it like?
So it started off with a few. And I remember going to the doctors. He gave me antibiotics and he said, oh, don't worry, teenage spots, they're going to go soon. I was like, all right, cool, it's fine. I didn't even think anything of it when I seen it. I didn't panic. And it was just getting worse and worse. And I was like, okay, what is it? Like, what's going on? And I think I went again in year 8. And he was like, okay, so this is what you've got. And it's acne.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and it's a lot more complicated than just normal teenage spots. And yeah, it's just basically something that you're just going to have to deal with until it eventually goes. But they did put me on a lot of antibiotics, but nothing really helped.
And what is acne when you're saying it's really complicated?
Yeah.
What about it is complicated?
So with the one that I've got, it's hormonal acne. So like it's basically your hormones that are really like imbalanced and it just causes you to have a lot of breakouts and it'll break you out on your face, on your neck, your chest, your back. And also because I had polycystic ovaries with it, I think that it was just like acne on steroids basically. I was like, what the hell? So it was really complicated and all the medication and everything like that was a long process as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And growing up in school, I mean, that must have been quite difficult, no?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people would say, you know, spotty and, oh my God, your face is dirty, like, you know, wash your face kind of thing. And yeah, you'd get a lot of name calling about it. And I remember a lot of people used to say it to me, they'd be like, your face is so ugly. Like, you know, and I'd be like, what the hell? And I think that bothered me more than actually having acne because I didn't think anything of it that bad.
Mm-hmm.
But then when people were making fun out of it, I was like, oh my God, this is really bad, like worse than I thought. I need to get rid of it. And yeah, it weren't going anywhere. So
other people's opinions can really impact you. And I think especially when you're younger and you're not so sure of yourself and you're still trying to understand so many things about yourself and your confidence is growing. You know, I really believe that when I was younger, that was when I started being confident. If someone said something about me now, I probably wouldn't be so impacted by it. But when I was younger, I remember so clearly taking my mum to Sainsbury's and saying to her, please, 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 let me buy a razor. And I begged her and I said, please, all the girls in school, they don't have hair on their legs. I'm so hairy.
Yeah.
Please, can you? And she said no, but she let me buy, you know, that hair removal.
Yeah.
It's called like Nair.
Yeah.
And she let me buy it and it stunk. I still remember it.
Yeah, horrible smell.
Because she didn't want me to shave it. And you know, sometimes now, I mean, I've had laser hair removal now, and sometimes I have a few hairs, and I just don't care. I'm really not that bothered.
Yeah.
But when I was in school, I remember being so impacted by other people just looking at me sometimes in a weird way.
Yeah.
And I don't really remember being bullied so much about it. But I do remember begging my mum in Sainsbury's. So there must have been some comments about hair and something to do
like
with my
subconsciously you must have been thinking about it.
Exactly. And I think that that's what's really tricky, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you're at that age, and you know, anyone who's listening to this podcast will know and understand, especially if you're a girl, when you go to school and other people are mocking you, it can be really, really difficult.
Yeah, definitely. I think that the one thing that I would definitely say is that type of age, you have to be really careful with what you do say to people, because I feel like those are the things that you will take with you into your adulthood.
Okay.
And it will really impact you, you know, with your confidence. You'll always be worried, oh my God, do I look like this and that? Because even though you've grown up and you think, and I'm saying it from my own experience, like I sometimes think, oh my God, I'm so confident. And then I'm like, oh my God, I don't like this about myself. I don't like this. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you're not supposed to be thinking about that. And I think that all those comments still linger a little bit. So like, it doesn't really go away. So
I think we define, you know, a characteristic with someone and think that they always have to be like that. And I spoke about this recently. If someone looks at me and says, oh, you're really confident, they presume that I'm confident in every area of my life, right? In every single area, they're like, why would you be scared, Shivani? You're so confident. Why do you feel nervous? You're so confident. And I am nervous and I am scared in so many areas of my life. I mean, you know, when I was younger, I used to sing a lot. And I've talked about this previously. If you asked me to sing right now, I'd genuinely start shaking and I'd be so nervous.
Yeah.
And I'm a completely different person. That doesn't mean I'm not confident. It just means in certain areas of my life, I'm more confident in certain things.
Yeah.
And I think you're so right. When you're younger, those small moments impact you.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you have days like this. I definitely have days where I'm, you know, beating myself up. I'm saying I'm not good at this. I'm not good at that. You know, and I just constantly focus on those negative things. And those voices of those negative people, or those voices of the people who I let impact me then, come back again.
Yeah. You know what? I really agree with that. I think that, like, I even have a problem when I eat now, and I didn't know it was a problem.
Interesting.
And I'm just like, I don't like eating in front of people. I don't like, if I eat, I have to do it alone or in private, or like, if I eat really unhealthy, I'll be like, okay, I'm going to go on this strict diet the next day. I'm just going to, you know, detox, but I'll go really extreme with it. And, you know, a lot of people will be like, doesn't that mean that like you're ashamed of eating or this and that? And I feel like subconsciously in the back of my head, I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to be like I was before, because there's nothing wrong with gaining weight or anything like that. But I feel like I always put it in the category of of when I was a lot bigger, I was unhappy. So I always have that in my head, and I'm like, oh my God, if I gain weight, I'm going to be unhappy again. I don't want to do that. So then I literally make sure that I have to eat certain stuff at certain times. And it's really weird.
Were you going through your acne journey alongside your weight journey?
Yeah, so I gained a lot of weight. I think that I didn't realize at the time, but I just would love to eat, and that would be my happiness. And I'd be like, oh my God. And I didn't realize how big I was getting or how much weight I was gaining and anything like that. And then when it came down to it, I was like, oh my God, you're really unhappy with yourself, and you do these things to, you know, you're emotional eating, and it's really bad. And I think that when I've lost all the weight and I tried to, you know, diet and stuff like that, I think I got over the top with it now, because I just assume, oh my God, if you gain weight, you know, Kadeeja, you're going to be really depressed again. You're going to be really sad again. So I just try my best to not do anything like that.
So talk to me about that. When did that start? When did you start to gain weight, start realizing you were emotional eating?
So I was gaining weight in my teenage years, and then it got a lot worse, I think, when I was about 21, 22. And that's when I was really quite big. And yeah, and then I think that's when I had to like realize, okay, I think you've got like a problem. It's not like you're gaining weight because you're enjoying it. You're just gaining weight by, because you're upset. Yeah, and stuff like that. So I was just like, I have to really start looking after myself. But yeah, I get the days when I go over the top.
I've spoken to a lot of people around eating disorders, and I've spoken to a lot of people who have told me that they've struggled with their relationship with food. But never anyone who's told me, well, actually one person has told me that they used to binge eat. Is that what you're talking about, where you used to eat loads, or was it just consistently?
If I was full, I would still eat just for the sake of it. And it wasn't like, oh my God, you're treating yourself, you're just eating because you're enjoying it. I wouldn't even be hungry, I'd be full. But I would just eat. I'll be like, oh, yeah, just to pass the time, just to feel good. I'll just be there snacking, and to the point where I'll feel sick, but I just wouldn't stop, if that makes any sense. It just made me feel good at the time.
And what made you change that habit?
I literally went through a certain situation where I realized I wasn't that confident like I thought I was.
Okay.
And I thought, okay, so you have this persona where, oh my God, be great, happy, confident in your body. And I was like, I'm actually not that happy. Like, I'm really not. And I just had to pull it back a bit, and I thought, look, you're going to have to change things. You're going to have to eat better. Like, you're neglecting yourself right now. You're saying you're happy, but you're neglecting your body, yourself, your skin and everything like that. And it just wasn't good for my mental health. So then, yeah, I became vegan for like 3 years. Yeah.
How was that?
It was actually all right. I enjoyed it, but I didn't take any vitamins. So then I had to start eating fish again because I was getting really ill.
Yeah, that happened to me. I didn't take any vitamins when I was vegan.
Yeah.
Processed food.
Exactly.
Now I try as much as I can to. I'm still vegetarian. But
Yeah.
I still try as much as I can, but I hate to say that I am or I'm not, because people are just savage online. But anyway, I'm interested to know your journey of, as a child suffering with acne, going through this kind of path where you're emotionally eating. What was that like on your mental health?
I think that it was the worst thing. It was very bad, but I didn't realize how bad it was. I think the way people would say things to me, I think that's what made it bad. I didn't have a problem to begin with. Yeah, I had spots here and there, and I was, oh my God. But I still felt good, if that makes any sense. But until people were like, oh my God, you're ugly, you're fat, you're this, you're that, I was just like, oh my God, like I need to change myself. I need to do something.
Who was saying this to you?
Loads of people at school. And I was just like, I really want to I want to change my face. I want to do this. I want to do that. And because I couldn't get rid of my acne, I was just like, oh my God, like I'm just going to have to live with this. I'm going to be ugly. I'm going to be ugly for the rest of my life. And like, I'm just going to have to live with these comments. And it was the worst thing ever. And yeah, I didn't enjoy it at all. I mean, they were the worst years of my life. But as I became an adult, I feel like, a lot of people do say it to me now. They're like, oh, okay, so you're confident, but, you've done a lot of work to yourself and you've changed a lot. And that's when I also realized, I was like, you know what, it's true. Maybe I'm not that confident or that happy with the way that I look, because I have, altered a few things on my face and stuff like that. And, I'm always open and honest whenever I share these things with people. But that is another thing. If I was so confident and so great, I wouldn't really be bothered to be changing or tweaking anything that, I have.
Do you mind sharing what you have?
Yeah, sure. So I've had buccal fat surgery.
What's that?
So they remove the fat pads from your face. So I've got nothing here. Yeah.
What? I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah.
So they remove fat from here and here?
Yeah, so they cut your mouth open and it just sounds a lot worse than...
Yeah. I'm like, huh? Okay.
No, it does sound really bad, but believe it or not, it wasn't that bad. But my face was swollen for like a couple of months, and I had to, have soup and everything like that, liquid and all that. But they cut the mouth open from the inside, and they grab the fat pad and they remove it. You get to see after your surgery and stuff like that. It's like on the table. You're like, oh my God, that used to be in my mouth. It's crazy.
Really? And does everyone have that?
Everyone's got fat like here, but if you push mine here, I've got nothing. It's like literally gone.
Oh,
yeah.
I feel it after.
So I've had that. I've obviously had lip filler.
Okay.
And my teeth.
So I actually really couldn't tell.
Yeah, I know. My teeth were mashed up before. So
how old were you when you started, surgical procedures?
I think the first thing that I ever had done when I was about 20.
When you were 20?
Yeah.
And how did you kind of make that decision to do that? What pushed you?
Well, a lot of clinics were reaching out and they were like, oh my God, we would like to do this for you for free and this and that. And obviously at the time I was like, oh, okay then.
Yeah.
Like, all right, let's see what's going on. So then, went there, they did my lips and I was like, oh my God, I love it. And then I went over the top and I kept getting them done and they looked saggy and horrible. But I think that was the first thing that I had done and I loved looking different. And then that's when other things were coming up and they were like, oh yeah, you can try this treatment, this and that. And I was just like, yeah, okay, I'll give it a go. And
you're susceptible, I think, a lot in your 20s, and I even think now, well, I'm going into my 30s now, which is very sad.
You do not look it.
But for me, I know myself, and I know I've always said I want to maybe get my lips done, or get like this done, or remove my laugh lines.
Yeah.
But I know myself. Once I start on one thing, I'm never gonna stop.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I actually don't think there's anything wrong with getting work done if you truly want it.
Yeah.
If you're getting work done because someone else has said, oh, Shivani, your lips are horrible, or for example, I remember when I used to do modelling and people would comment on my laugh lines. Mm-hmm. I didn't even know what laugh lines were.
Oh yeah.
I had no idea that these are laugh lines.
Oh my God.
And it was only when people everywhere I went were like, we need to cover those laugh lines, that I started thinking, oh, should I get it done? And I think that's the problem now is, instead of your friends outright saying to you, you're ugly or you're this or you're that, we have social media telling you, oh, you need to have lips that look like this. These are the beauty standards. We have filters that are telling you, is your face symmetrical?
Yes.
We have things on TikTok that are like, if you fit into this mold, then you have the most beautiful face. And from that, you think, I'll just raise my eyebrows a bit. I'll just put a little bit of filler in my lip.
Yeah.
And that's where I think it's sad that what's happening now is we're seeing so many people get work done, not because they themselves thought that about themselves. How you said, you were never conscious about the acne. You just thought it was a few spots. And it's normal when you're younger to go through that. It was because of other people's opinions that made you feel a certain way. Yeah. And I think that's the real problem we have at the moment is other people online are making you feel you're not good enough.
Yeah, I think definitely, like, even if you look at the comment, you'd be like, oh yeah, whatever, I still feel great. I think subconsciously, like, why would that person say that? Is there something wrong? Do I need to do something? Like, what would make them say something like that to me? Do you know what I mean? So it definitely does have a big impact.
I really do think, though, that the more you work on yourself and the more confident you become, the less you feel insecure about something, and then the less you feel triggered by something, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I know when I started my podcast, naturally, I was worried, how am I going to make any money? Yeah. And when I would meet people and they would say, it's never going to be a career, I would say, you're right. Mm-hmm. How on earth am I ever going to make money from a podcast? I mean, this was like 3 years ago now. So, it wasn't what it is now where you know how you can make money from it. And because I was insecure about it, I kind of let my insecurity be fed by that person. Yeah. And I rolled with it. Yeah. And now the other day, it was really funny. Someone said, podcasting is never going to be a long-term thing. Mm-hmm. It's a short-lived thing. And I'm not insecure about it because I have a plan. Yeah. And I know where I'm going to go. Yeah. And I know what this is going to lead on to the next thing and lead on to the next thing. And I really took a moment in that moment to think, it's so funny that if someone said that to me 2 years ago, I'd have said, yeah, you're right. But now I would have felt upset. Yeah. But now I just looked at them and I said, interesting. Yeah. And I don't need to feel to justify to them, well, do you know I want to do this and this is what I'm going to do and this is where I'm going to get. I'm just like, okay. And I think it's because I've become so much more confident in myself and my journey. Yeah. And knowing where I want to be, that those small comments no longer affect me. Yeah. It doesn't mean to say when someone comments a hate thing. Someone on the other day commented on my post and said, well, get a real job. And they commented on my story and then several of my posts. So they were just on one, they were just on this mission to
hating spree.
Yeah, they were just on one. I would just imagine people at home like clicking away. My point here is essentially, you can never ever be affected by someone else's opinion if you're sure of yourself. Yeah. And that's why I really, really think inner work is so important. So when did you start kind of reflecting in and becoming so confident in your skin?
I think that when I was first posting about my skin and, it happened randomly. Everyone always says to me, how did you start off? That's the first thing. Yeah. I know a lot of people like to keep their secret, they start off a little secret. I don't really care. I'm like, okay, this is how it started off. Like, it's literally, this is what happened. I used to edit my photos a lot. And one day I was getting ready for MAC, I used to work in MAC as a makeup artist. And I was like, I cannot be bothered to edit this photo. I actually don't care. And I recorded it and I was like, just going to put it out, whatever. And this was the first time, I think everyone used to comment nice things to me. They used to say, oh my God, your skin's amazing. Your makeup's amazing. You're so beautiful, blah, blah. And then I just put it out and I went to my shift. When I say I've never experienced hate online, I was literally like, oh. And bearing in mind, this was after school, so I didn't get hate for a while. So obviously I wasn't around people that are really going to be nasty to me. So when I seen it, I was like, oh my God, why do people think I'm so ugly? Like, why do people keep writing these things? They were like, oh my God, you're so ugly. Oh my God, how come you didn't show this before? You've been like lying to people. And I was like, what the hell? And I just thought, I deleted it and I was like, that's it. That's cool. Like, I've seen enough.
You deleted the post or you deleted the comment?
The post. I was like, whatever. And then when I got home, I thought about it. I was like, okay. Re-uploaded it. I thought, whatever. So I uploaded it again. Although I got a really nasty comments, I feel like there were so many people that really appreciated it. And that video hit like 1 million. And this was back when Instagram was like, you know, for bloggers were just starting up and all.
How many followers did you have at this time, by the way?
I had like 30K.
And the video hit 1 million back then.
And then I remember it went all the way up to, I got 80K. Like during my shifts and whenever I'd go in, then I'll put more videos out. It went to 80K, 90K, and then I hit 100K. I remember I was on one of my late shifts there. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then loads of brands reached out. They were like, I want to work with you. You know, I want you to be in this campaign, this article, you know, and it literally just took off. I was like, what the hell? No, that's literally what happened.
What's so beautiful about that story is, look, you had 30,000 people following you when you were filtering and editing your photos, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we've all been there. But when you started being authentic, and you started
yeah.
showing who you really were, something that I think so many of us are afraid to do.
Yeah.
You know, when I started this podcast, if you look back at them, I'm very much like, hello, how's your journey? That's nice. Like, okay, my question to you now would be like, okay, that's good. And now my questions are a lot deeper. They're a lot more maybe aggressive. They're a lot more different.
Yeah.
And that's because I had the confidence to finally be myself.
Yeah.
And, you know, what's so nice about your story is you grew from authenticity.
Yeah.
And that's when people ask all the time, they ask me the same, how did you grow your podcast? And I genuinely just say, last year, I just decided to ask the hard questions that I've been asking my whole life. Whilst in the beginning, I was too nervous to ask those questions.
Yeah.
I never want to make someone feel uncomfortable. I never want to make someone feel called out.
Yeah.
So I always send all the questions before. But having the bravery to ask that person, can I ask you about this?
Yeah.
Has changed. And that has changed the trajectory of the conversation.
Yeah.
And so more people, I feel more engaged in watching it.
Yeah.
And with you just were completely unfiltered and people love to see that.
Yeah, I really couldn't believe it. I was like, what the hell? And it was more exciting because I feel like a lot of people are popular for their perfection appearances. And I became popular for my imperfections. And I was like, okay. But you know what? It helped so many people. And I was like, I didn't realize a lot of people, you know, go through the same thing. You know, when you think, oh my God, it's just me. It's all happening to me. I just didn't know that loads of people out there were feeling the same. But I was just so happy. I was like, you know what? I'm happy that this is helping them as well. And it's allowing them to comment under, you know, about their stories, message me. It was really nice.
When you see negative comments, you know, there's a lot about makeup, you know. I actually saw somebody tell one of my friends the other day, you know, when you wake up in the morning, that guy's going to be scared of you. Have you seen these on wedding posters?
Yeah, what the hell?
When you see things like that, how does it impact you? Because you're so raw and authentic. I mean, I don't really come on my platform with any makeup on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I stopped using filters now.
Yeah.
Because
you don't need to use filter. Come on. What the hell's wrong with you?
I used to use filters, and I'm really, unless I've got zero makeup and I look like a complete mess, I really try now when I'm walking, when I've got makeup on, not to use them because I think, you know, I'm playing into that narrative of cover your real self up, and I'm really trying not to do that. But how do you kind of deal with that? Because it's hard to be so raw.
I think that when it comes to, like, I know this is quite funny, but when it comes to dating and stuff like that, I would never give anyone my Instagram. Like, I'll be like...
Really?
No, because I'll be like, oh my God, they're going to like know everything about me. They're going to see everything. And I'm like, this is embarrassing because it's not embarrassing how I feel, how I look without makeup. But I'm like, you're just going to know everything about me. And you can see how I like all the raw details. I don't know that about you.
That's true. That's
so
interesting. That's why it's good to have your name as a different...
That's what I'm saying. So I'm like, oh my God, I don't want anyone to know, especially if I'm dating, whatever. Like, I just don't want to tell anyone because this is embarrassing. Anyway, so I just feel like when it comes to those type of things, I wouldn't unless I'm very comfortable with someone and, stuff like that. And I think that when you're dating or whatever, it can be like, oh, you've had work done to your face. You look really different. You don't have the original, look that you do back then or whatever. But it's like, it's just a complicated thing to explain to someone. Like, oh, yeah, I don't feel that confident. It's like, come on, you don't want to take your trousers off straight away by saying all, the negative things about yourself. Do you know what I'm saying? So when it comes to that kind of stuff, I would say it's a bit of a hard one, but...
How do you manage that, though? Do you have another account with Kadeeja on it?
Oh, shut up. No, I actually do. It's my other...
Do you?
Yeah, no, I've got 2 accounts. So my other account's more of like friends, family. And...
Yeah, but fair enough. If you're meeting somebody, then they get to see that side of you.
Yeah, no, definitely. But but when it comes to... But you know what? Again, the other one's a bit more professional as well. I feel like a lot of people out there can be clout chasers and they would only want to talk to you, just to get... True. And it could be with girls and guys, like, like it can be with anything. Oh, like, how can I build something to get that? I said, all right, really? Is that what we're talking about now? But so I don't really give it, but if they find me, it's like, all right, whatever. Yeah, this is how I look like. Okay,
You talked about clout chasing. It's really interesting now.
Yeah.
With the whole buying the Instagram verification.
Oh my God. Listen, I didn't even know, like, everyone was like doing it. And I'm not even joking. Loads of people were following and they had blue ticks. I'm thinking, okay. Recently, I'm like, all right, ain't that popular? Like, what? Like, loads of celebrities following. They were like just the local lot. And I'm thinking, you're actually buying it. What the hell? Like, I mean, I had my blue tick about, I think 7 years ago. So I remember when I was speaking to another influencer about it, and she was making me laugh. She was like, oh, listen, Kadeeja, this is how you realise that someone's bought it. She was telling me. And I was just like, why though?
How did you realise?
They apparently have their
full name
on there.
Yeah. But I've always had my full name.
Yeah, me too. That's what I'm saying. Like, but I think they have their full name in big capital letters.
Really?
Yeah, I think that's how you tell. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I'm sure that's what it is.
I think well, you can buy it now, $11.99. I'm not going to buy it. I did a whole podcast on it yesterday about how.
Yeah, but you've been on red carpets. You've been on billboards. You've been on all these things. Like, come on, like it really.
I'm not going to buy it.
It's ridiculous. It's so stupid.
Yeah,
and
it's so stupid.
I was like, what the hell? I was like, you don't need a blue tick to like define
this is the whole
you.
Thing
like
around validation, and I think this is linked back to what we're just talking about, right?
Yeah.
We believe we need to be validated by other people.
Yeah.
And you only feel you need to be validated by other people is when you're not confident within yourself.
Yeah.
When did that switch for you? Has it switched for you?
I don't know, because I feel like, okay, like I get to a stage where I'm like, yeah, I'm confident, I feel great, blah, blah, blah. But then sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I don't like this about myself. I don't like, so I'm just thinking maybe it's just a human thing and a human way to think. So it's definitely not like it was before, because before I couldn't even, like, I wouldn't even let anyone take a photo of me. Like,
no way.
If we're on a girl's holiday, family holiday, whatever, and I would be in the photo, I'd hate it. I'd be like, oh my God, take me out. This is embarrassing. I remember one time I went abroad with my sister and I literally had a maxi dress on. This was when I was quite big. And I was just sitting on the beach and I thought, this is, oh my God, I don't feel good in my skin, man. Like, I'm on holiday, you want to feel your best. I was like, I just don't feel good. Like, and it was just, I just felt really negative about it. And I hated photos of being, next to someone smaller than me or whatever. Like, it would really bother me. And then I think that would knock my confidence down a bit more. Like, oh my God, I want to be photoed with them. They look so good. I look so ugly. Oh my God, I hate it. But I think now, I don't mind. Like, I don't mind. I'm like, okay, yeah, take a photo, like whatever. Like, I feel a lot better. So, but obviously, human, you can have that days where you don't feel that good.
Everyone's self-critical, but what I'm keen to understand is that journey, because it's not like an overnight switch. You were, just one day woke up and you thought, you know what, I'm going to change, and I'm going to be confident now. What was that journey?
So I think through all teen years, I felt like you're not good enough. You're not even good enough to have popular friends. Like, I'd have, a lot of friends that were popular and I'd be like, oh my God, like, I don't really feel like this is, like, I belong in this kind of friendship group because of the person that I am, But I think as soon as I became like in my 20s and stuff like that, I still wasn't feeling that confident. I weren't feeling good. I think when I lost weight, I started to feel better. And that's because I really felt like, I was tackling a problem. Like I'm just, food isn't my friend, or it's not love, and I need to stop doing all that kind of stuff. So that helped. And then obviously when I started to work on my skin, started to, eat more cleaner, exercise, go and do all these little things, I just felt like I was starting to feel my best. And I think that although I felt like that, I still feel like I wasn't as confident as the way, like I've been talking about confidence online for about 5-6 years now.
Right.
And all that time I wasn't feeling that confident. I was like, I don't feel good in myself. Like I feel almost bad that I'm telling people, yeah, feel good. Like it's so easy, and I don't feel great. But I think that the first thing that I had to do is acknowledge that, look, Kadeeja, you aren't confident about yourself and you need to do something about it. And the first thing is, stop comfort eating, look after your skin, really start doing things for yourself. But most of all, stop looking for people for validation. If someone does not like you, or if someone, has something to say, I could not give two hoots now. It's like, all right, you think like that. That's fine. That's great. Why are you telling me that? I don't care. Do you know what I mean? I think some opinions just need to be kept to themselves. But the main thing is just, you are not going to be everyone's cup of tea. You know what I'm saying? So if no one likes me, or if someone thinks I'm ugly or whatever, it's like, all right, that's fine. That's your opinion. I got my opinion of you too. I'm not saying it.
It's true. I think, if you're not going to say something nice to someone's account, just don't bother.
Yeah.
Don't take time out of your day to be cruel. But
yeah.
You said you need to start taking care of yourself and you had to stop eating. Losing weight is very difficult.
It took me a long time.
It's very, very difficult, especially, when you're used to eating so much.
Yeah.
To then reduce your appetite and to be disciplined and strict with that. What pushed you to do that?
I just wanted to be a better version of myself. And I think that I didn't even realize I lost weight. I was just trying to eat healthy. And it was during COVID, everyone was gaining weight. Everyone's in joggers and all that. And I was obviously in joggers, and then I think about 6 months after COVID, blah, 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 on clean eating or whatever, I finally put my jeans on when they opened, the shops. I was like, yeah, put them on. I was like, oh my God, they don't fit. And then I think that boosted it up, and I was like, oh my God, I've lost weight. That's it. I'm going to continue with this. I'm going to continue eating healthy. I don't want to go back. And I think that still within those 3 years, 4 years, I did lose a lot of weight. Like even now I lost a lot of weight compared to then. But I think in the back of my head, I'm scared to put on weight. So that's why I just don't want to eat bad. Like I'm just really fearful. I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to gain any weight. If I gain weight, that's it. Like, I'm not going to feel good in myself. So I think I go over extreme though when I eat and stuff like that. Yeah.
Do you still have an unhealthy relationship with food?
Yeah, but it's the other way. So before I couldn't stop eating, I was stuffing my face, and then now it's like I don't want it.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy. So that's something I need to work on. But yeah, I'm getting there.
A lot of people have that. They start eating loads and then they just stop, and then that's when people struggle with like eating disorders and stuff. But actually at the root of it, it's just an unhealthy relationship with food, whether it's you're eating too much or eating too less.
Yeah.
It's tackling that problem. But you mentioned something earlier about you don't want to eat in front of other people.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Like, I just feel like, I don't know. I just don't want to eat in front of people. I feel like they're just going to, I don't know. It's going to sound so bad. I just feel like I look like, I don't know. I can't explain it. I just can't explain what it is. I just don't like eating for people.
How does it make you feel?
I don't want to say the word, but I just feel like I'm being...
Conscious.
Yeah, like I just feel like a lot of people are just going to look at me and think, oh, that girl's greedy. I don't know what it is.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. So you won't eat because you think other people will think that you're greedy?
Yeah, they'll think that, oh, this girl's greedy or she's fat or whatever. And like I still have that. See, that's the problem. Like I still have that in the back of my head. Like, even if I go on a date with someone, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to eat. I don't want to go anywhere with that's eating. Like, can we do something else? Like, I don't want to eat in front of you. I don't know why I keep doing that. Like, it's really like embarrassing, but yeah.
Embarrassing.
Yeah.
Do you have a big appetite? Is that why?
No, like I actually don't. Like I don't know what it is. Like even if I eat a lot, I don't eat a lot now anymore. But if I eat something, it would be like half of it, and then I'm like, all right, I'm done now, or whatever. Yeah, don't know.
It's really difficult with food. I've spoken to so many people about that, and it takes a lot of time and a lot of acknowledgement to understand, okay, well, this is going back to my past, because with me, I have a huge appetite.
Yeah.
And when people call me a pig or people call me greedy, I find it funny.
Really?
Yeah, I don't. But that's my point, is that whatever you have gone through when you're younger will affect you when you're older. So when did you start modelling? I know you said loads of brands started reaching out when that video went viral.
Yeah.
But when did you start modelling for them?
The first one was Makeup Revolution. It was for one of their foundation adverts.
Okay.
And I was like, oh my God, like, so exciting and all that kind of stuff. And they were like, yeah, be in it. And I wore a slim fit top in there as well. So I hated that. I still, when I look at the advert, it looks so embarrassing. But yeah, no, I got into that and I was like, okay, like this is my skin. It was unfiltered. Like you could see everything. So I was just like, oh my God, this is really good. And then from that, I got loads of others. I got Rimmel London. And that was with Rita Ora and Cara Delevingne. I remember when I seen them, I didn't know Rita Ora was going to be there. Like literally, I did not know Rita Ora was going to be there. And on set, when we were there, they were like, all right, so Rita's going to be coming in. And I was like, what?
Rita who?
That's what I was like, what are you on about? I was like, I wasn't told this in my contract. Like, what the hell? And they were like, yeah, Rita Ora's coming. And I was like, okay. Like, they were saying it so casually. And I was like, all right, like, I'm nervous and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, half an hour comes in. She just walks in. Lovely, lovely person. She just comes in and she's like, hi, I'm Rita. And I'm looking at her face and I'm like, I know who you are. I was like, what the hell? And she was just so sweet, so nice. We got to do an advert with them, and that was around bullying as well. And it was just bringing a lot of awareness. And, Cara Delevingne was in that as well. She was so lovely. Both of them so beautiful, lovely people. And yeah, it was just revolving around like being different and having to be, like you don't have to change yourself for online, people to accept you or whatever. It was brilliant, that campaign was. And then from there, I was doing a lot of panel talks. I got my own line with Inglar. I remember this was back when I lived in Birmingham. It was in Stratford. And they were like, okay, so you're going to be in store, by the way. And I was like, oh, okay. And yeah, so I was like, all right. And then I went to Stratford and I was like, literally in like behind the counter, big picture in the front of the store, and I was like, oh my God, this is mad.
Got your own line.
Yeah, it was insane. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God, J-Lo's got their line with them and they're asking me, like, and nobody. Okay, like I was just like, all right then. So but from that, I really liked all the campaigns. I did Beauty Bay and all that kind of stuff. I can name so many, but I feel like from that, I love the fact that they didn't edit my photos and they let me be myself. Like they would even ask me on set, they're like, all right, what you comfortable with? What would you like? It wasn't like, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to filter you. We're going to make you look so Photoshop edited the way a lot of campaigns do.
And did you have experience with campaigns that did make you do that?
I don't remember. I don't think so.
Okay.
And on the top of my head, I don't think so. Hopefully they didn't. I don't think I remember. But yeah, no, like they didn't. And it was really great. And I got to be like online. Everyone got to see it. They got to see the skincare product. And it was on unfiltered skin. So I was like, this is amazing.
That's crazy. And then from that, when did you start kind of becoming a full-time model? Was that from that?
Literally from that. And then, I got my own management. And then they're literally like the top 10 in the UK. And I'm like, okay, you want me? All right, then. This is fun. And from that, I just got so many different campaigns, And yeah, it was mind-blowing.
What's been one of your difficult moments being a model? Because I think modeling is very difficult. Personally.
I feel like the most difficult, when people think of the word model, they always see, okay, you have to be thin, flawless, you got a good bone structure, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, I'm like the opposite. I'm like, all right, I'm the opposite. And I'm like considered as a model for this. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is just such a weird thing. But then I'm like, you know what? At the end of the day, who defines what a model is? At the end of the day, a model is someone that, people look at, they can admire, they can learn things from. I am that, but I am that with people accepting themselves, feeling good, feeling beautiful, feeling confident, and it being without a filter. So it definitely is like a bit of a weird one, but I'm happy that it's in the realistic side of it and it's not Photoshop filtered and overly edited.
I think all models should be role models.
Yeah.
They should be models and then also be role models to not hide their looks, not to completely filter their skin. And I'm really happy that loads of brands are doing that more and more now, because sometimes when you look at people and you just think, how on earth do they look like that? And they actually don't.
Yeah, like
actually don't.
You look at so many people online. I've met a lot of people in person and they look stunning in person, like so beautiful, so flawless. And I feel like online it's like, you don't even need to do that. Like, but it's sad and it's like, oh my God, this is how this person probably feels their best, is when they do Photoshop and edit. But honestly, loads of them are stunning. They don't need it. And I just think it's a pressure of social media and it's just very toxic sometimes.
You have hundreds of thousands of followers on all platforms now. How do you manage that?
I don't know, it's normal. I don't know, like I just post whatever.
Don't feel impacted to perhaps post in a certain way or keep up with certain trends? Do you feel you're being authentic?
You know what? If you look at my Insta, I feel like it's the messiest Insta ever. Like it's not color coordinated, it's not aesthetic, nothing like that. It just is so messy. Like whenever I look at it, I'm like, oh my god, nothing matches. It's all over the place, blah blah blah. But I'm like, this is what I like to post. This is exactly who I am, and I don't know, like it's just that I like to post what's real out there. If I'm taking a photo and I'm like, yeah, I want to post it, I want to talk about it. Okay, forget the edit, just shove it online, whatever. And I feel like people appreciate that because at the end of the day, we are all human. We're not perfect. You know what I'm saying? So like, why should your feed be so perfect?
It's so funny because I'm working with a logo designer now. And I said to her, my feed is a complete mess. And then I said, however, I don't know if I want to make it very aesthetic because that's also not representation of me.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not an aesthetic person.
Yeah.
I am messy. Like I would get these crystals from Soul Space, and she always says to me, okay, you need to like, color coordinate them a bit because I wear like every single color.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I like them. And she's like, I've just accepted that you're going to be the person who wears every single color of my bracelet stack.
Yeah.
And yours is not going to be coordinated because it's representative of you. And I think we're always trying to fit in, aren't we?
Yeah.
With whatever trend there is, whatever person there is, whatever kind of, situation that we find ourselves feeling more aligned to.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to people who went through that kind of same journey as you and want to fit in?
I would just say be yourself. I mean, no one's perfect out there. Everyone has things that they are so insecure about. Like, you are not going to tell someone something new. Do you know what I'm saying? Everyone has good days, bad days. It's okay to share those stuff, and it's okay to not put a front up and be like, oh my God, I'm so perfect. I've got, everything in order and anything like that. I feel like people appreciate it more, but they also feel like, oh my God, a weight's been lifted. Like, I don't have to put this fake persona out there and be like, oh yeah, I'm so perfect. I've got this, I've got all the money, I've got the best, holiday trips or whatever. I feel like so many people take that in and be like, oh my God, I'm not doing enough in my life. And it's not probably even realistic, whatever's happening. Do you know what I'm saying? So I just think people should just be themselves. And
I think for you, it's so inspiring to think you're working at Mac, and the second that you just were completely authentic, showed your real skin. I mean, you've been modeling for these crazy brands, and got your own line, and where do you see yourself kind of going with this?
I have no idea. I feel like when I first started off, I was just like, oh my God, I need to do this and that. But I just take each day as it comes, each opportunity as it comes. I don't want to be in that role where, I know everything has a shelf life. Like, I know that anything does. And especially like social media, it is going to end one day for anyone that's got a limelight or whatever. But I just think that as long as you're having fun with it, as long as you're being true to yourself and you're putting things out there that represent you, it's fine. Whatever it ends up, but just don't put that unnecessary pressure on yourself that, oh my God, it's going to end one day, I need to this and that, because then you're just not going to enjoy the process.
It's interesting as you come from an Asian background, right?
Yeah.
Like me.
Yeah.
How are your family's response to you kind of being this full-time content creator?
You know what? I swear to God, like, whenever anyone knows that I'm Afghan, they're like, oh my God, Afghans are so strict, and how are you allowed to go online? And, and I'm just like, my family are so supportive. Like,
really?
I remember I tried to, when I got called, ugly or whatever, I was going up and down with it. I was like, oh my God, I don't want to be on social media. And my siblings were like, are you stupid? Like, what are you doing? So they're my biggest supporters, but they always tell me, they're like, listen, keep encouraging this, always be true to yourself. And that's exactly what I've done. But I'm just so happy that as someone that has an Asian background, that they are so supportive to me with it as well.
You must get a lot of messages online that ask you to help people. I get literally so many messages of people saying, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? Because you're talking about...
Yeah.
Or do you not? Sorry, I've just made that assumption.
No.
You were like...
I was thinking, what way?
With their skin?
Yeah, all the time. It's like, what product shall I use? This is my skin type and this and that. And I feel like, oh my God, it's such a honor. I'm like, oh my God, like, I'm not a dermatologist, but I'm like, this is what's worked for me. This is what I'd recommend, but please speak to these people as well.
I was just going to say, because it can be hard to offer
Oh my
advice.
God, yeah, because I would use products that were really bad for my skin, and they'd break me out. So I never want to give anyone the wrong advice. I'm like, listen, I ain't got a PhD in science. I don't know. But this is just how I'll recommend and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm glad that I can help whenever they ask anyway.
Did you ever go on Roaccutane?
I did 4 years ago. I only went on it for a month.
I've heard so many horror stories about
You know what it was? I swear, in a way, I wish I stayed on it longer. I'm not going to lie.
Wow.
Because I chickened out straight away. So I went on it and I was like, my skin purged. And I was like, oh my God. It went so hard, so dry. And I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm like, forget this. It looks so horrible. I can't even wear makeup. I can't do anything. I didn't like wait till I seen any results. I just quit it after the first month and a half. I was like, I can't do this. It's horrible.
A lot of people had really bad experiences on that though.
Yeah, it purges you. Your skin gets so dry. Like even if you're putting makeup on, it's like crumbling off your face. It's just so like intense. And I'm like, I can't do this. I'm like, it's hard.
So when you're recommending products and they can have that effect, do you ever feel scared to tell anyone, okay, you should try this or you should try that?
I think I don't know if it comes to like products like Roaccutane. A lot of people ask me about that, and I'm like, listen, please don't ask me. Like, I already chickened out. I'm not the one to ask about that because I was scared of it myself. But I'm like, just speak to a doctor, dermatologist. I mean, I'm not going to recommend anyone anything about medication. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just too difficult. I'm like, no, this is too sticky.
Have you ever had to work with a brand that didn't align with you, or you didn't like the products?
No, I like every product.
Thank God. It's a nightmare. That's
no, it is.
Once, and I've
oh, really?
Say I can't post about it. I'm sorry.
You know what it is? I feel like a lot of people out there, because they, following your journey, because you're telling them these things that you like and you're being very realistic about it. I have had to turn down brands that offer a lot of money because certain products, they contain either the fragrance, or I've used in the past when I was a lot younger, and they've broken me out. I'm like, listen, it does sound great and everything like that, but this product has broke me out. I'd watch a lot of adverts, and I'm not going to name the brand, but I watched a lot of adverts of them as a kid, and, they had a lot of celebrities use it, and their skin was amazing. It didn't do anything when I used it. I was like, this is crap. And it really made me feel like some brands lie. So I was just like, I'm not going to recommend it.
Authenticity is hard, isn't it?
You have to, though. You have to, because at the end of the day, I'm not going to recommend something I've personally used that I know don't work. Like, it's not fair, because at the end of the day, they're spending their money on it, like, and it's their time. You shouldn't do that.
Have you ever wanted to give up on social media?
Yeah. I think that when it gets too much and you feel like, a lot of people are just coming at you, or, saying things that, about your skin, about your journey, about this and that, or, just overly criticizing you. It's like, do I need to really be here? Like, to listen to this? Like, what am I doing here? Like, this is just so annoying. But at the end of the day, because it is a job and it is something that I do love doing, because regardless of the people that are saying nasty things, there's so many people out there that are saying positive. So I just have to think of it like that. I'm like, all right, I'm doing it for those people, and these people can, do on, basically.
Shy away the negativity.
Yeah.
It's literally me now. I'm just like, I'm not going to let you impact me.
No, but it's good. Yeah.
But thank you so much.
You're welcome.
For coming on and sharing so openly. I know it's really difficult, and I know you were nervous, but you did great.
Oh, thanks. Still feel nervous. Shaking myself.
It's over now.
Oh my days, that was freaking hard. How do you do that?